Is it finally happening? Is the era of illustration dead and we're moving into a new trend in web design, 3D? Let's find out. Hey everybody, what is up? My name is Ron Segal. Welcome back to Flux, where we talk everything web design. Now, if you've been browsing the web for the last few years, you know that illustration of all kinds have been pretty much the rage when it comes to web design trends. And I'm seeing kind of a shift in the industry, and I want to explain why. First of all, you might have seen recently websites like this or like this one using a lot of 3D kind of to tell different kind of stories and animate. Let's reload this to see kind of the sweet animation they have here. Or kind of even create something interactive like this. Now, we've also in Flux Academy are not free of being guilty of using 3D, and I want to understand why. I want to explain why I think this is kind of a shift. Now, I think in design, if you look at the history of design in general, you'll always see kind of a trend building up where everything is starting to use something for one reason or another. And then at some point you get into a place in the, in the history of that trend where it's being used so much that it's no longer kind of a differentiator. And then somebody would move into something different. Now, a lot of times these things would actually be something that is a little bit harder to do. And the reason is because we as designers, a lot of times our role is to create a differentiation, right? And sometimes when you're doing something that is harder than other people, that's why most people are not doing it. You'll be able to create some kind of a differentiation and create something new. Now, it did happen, initially when Apple came out with the original iPhone 2007, they started using kind of a skeuomorphism where they created the icon that were super realistic. And then everybody went ahead and do that. Now, then everybody got sick of it and they started using kind of the flat design, and then everybody got sick of that. And then there was a trend of using stock photos. A lot of people got sick of that because all websites look the same. And now they started getting into illustration because illustration was something a little bit harder, right? You had to hire a custom illustrator to do your illustration. Now illustration are so trendy that there's image banks and stock illustration, and we've even talked here about Figma extension blush, which allows you to kind of use illustration. So illustrations are becoming way popular and easier to do, and so people are kind of sometimes feel like they sick of it. All websites are being illustrated. They're all looking the same. How can we do something that is different? And I feel that's why a lot of people are going into 3D, because 3D as a starter, it's a little bit harder to do. Not all designers can do it themselves. It requires different softwares, skills. There's less people who are able to do it, and it just practically takes a lot of time to create these 3D things. Now, because this is different, the people who are investing in it, they kind of look different and stand out. Now, another benefit of 3D at the moment is that it's easier to animate. So you can create rotate things, change their shape, and because the web becomes way more animated and video oriented, and we as people, we love to see things in motion and things that are interactive, kind of like the things that I showed you earlier on in the examples. I feel like 3D gives them the possibility to experiment with it. That being said, 3D also enables you to convey abstract ideas because you can create abstract shapes. You can also create illustration type things where you have humans or other kind of objects that look kind of human, so you can tell stories that way, which is similar to what illustration does when you're illustrating people. So it has all the usefulness of illustration and other benefits as animation, stuff like that. That's why I think we'll be seeing way more 3D in the future. On top of that, there's also new tools that make 3D easier for designers to learn. So we've covered here Vectray, I think it's called, a free tool that allows designers to kind of create and create 3D objects and render them and get pretty decent result without tons of knowledge. I've also seen quite a few actually courses on 3D for designers. So a lot of designers are starting to pick up on that skill. So I think kind of my projection would be that in 2020 and 2021 and maybe even 2022, we'll see the rise of 3D all over the place. We'll see a lot more things happening in 3D until at some point, I don't know if that'll be 2021 or 2022, probably there'll be too much of it, and then we'll see what's next, and then probably something else will coming. But I feel the way that I'm seeing things right now, I feel like 3D is on the rise. So pay attention, maybe spend some time learning 3D or working with other 3D artists to create assets for your upcoming web design projects if you want to hop on this trend. Hope this video was helpful. Make sure you like. If you don't agree, make sure you comment below and let me know what's your opinion about using 3D in web design, and I'll catch you on the next video.